Today, President Donald Trump welcomed Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to the White House. This was no ordinary diplomatic visit. It was a summit poised to reshape global power. The leaders tackled urgent issues: trade, defense, and the critical supply of rare earth minerals. Their handshake was more than a greeting. It reaffirmed a century-old alliance. In a world of uncertainty, both leaders sought stability and strength in partnership. Behind closed doors, discussions were focused and intense, aiming for concrete plans. The goal, a partnership resilient enough to weather future geopolitical storms. Rare earth minerals dominated the agenda, essential for everything from smartphones to advanced military tech. For too long, a single nation has controlled these vital resources. President Trump called this dependency a national security risk. Prime Minister Albanese positioned Australia as the reliable democratic partner America needs. This meeting marks the first step toward a secure, independent supply chain. The implications go beyond minerals or trade. They define the next chapter of US-Australia relations. The leaders are laying the groundwork for deeper collaboration in defense, intelligence, and industry. Their message: democratic nations will unite to protect their interests and values. The world is watching. Decisions made today will echo for decades, shaping the Indo-Pacific and beyond. This is a turning point for two great allies. The future of their partnership starts now. What are rare earth minerals? Despite the name, they're not rare in the ground, but they're tough and costly to extract. 17 elements like neodymium and dysprosium are the backbone of modern technology. They're the vitamins of the digital age. A little goes a long way. Rare earths power our phones, computers, electric vehicles, and wind turbines. They're critical for medical imaging, fiber optics, and refining fuel. Without them, technological progress would stall. For the US military, these minerals are non-negotiable. They're in precision missiles, submarines, fighter jets, drones, and night vision goggles. A supply disruption could cripple America's military edge. National security is directly tied to access. That's why Australia's role is so vital. Australia holds vast, untapped reserves and is a stable, democratic ally. By investing in Australia's mining and processing, the US secures a dependable source. This move diversifies the supply chain, reducing risk. It's a modern gold rush, where the prize is not just wealth, but technological supremacy and security. The stakes couldn't be higher. For decades, China has quietly built a near monopoly on rare earth minerals. Through state investment and lax regulations, China now controls over 80% of global refined rare earths. This dominance gives Beijing immense leverage over industrialized nations. It's no accident. China saw the strategic value early and built its advantage deliberately. In 2010, China cut off rare earth exports to Japan during a dispute, sending shockwaves worldwide. The US and its allies learned how precarious their dependence was. The challenge isn't just mining, it's processing. Most facilities are in China. Rebuilding this capacity in the West is a massive long-term task. That's why the US-Australia partnership is crucial. Australia has the resources. With US investment, it can build processing plants outside China's control. This dependency is a direct threat to American industry and defense. If China halted exports, production of fighter jets, electric vehicles, and tech could grind to a halt. President Trump's meeting with Albanese is a direct response to this threat. The goal: break China's chokehold and secure America's future. The stakes are industrial survival and national security. The world is watching how the US and Australia respond. This is about regaining control over the building blocks of modern power. The outcome will shape the global balance for years to come. The US-Australia partnership isn't just strategic, it's economically complex. Trade was a major topic, with Albanese seeking relief from American tariffs on steel and aluminum. Australia argues that deepening security ties should come with economic trust. Open access to the US market is vital for Australia's economy. Removing trade barriers would signal a true alliance. President Trump's America First policy aims to protect US industries, but the rare earths partnership changes the equation. The likely deal: Australia gets tariff relief, and in return commits to massive rare earth investments, guaranteeing supply to the US. It's a delicate balance between economic priorities and security needs. The result could be a landmark pact. Australia gains economic access. The US secures critical minerals. This model blends economic cooperation with strategic defense. It's a blueprint for resilient partnerships with America's closest allies. Both nations stand to benefit, economically and strategically. The US-Australia alliance is a cornerstone of Indo-Pacific security. Today it's entering a new critical phase as China's military ambitions grow. The Trump-Albanese meeting accelerated defense cooperation. US Marines are rotating through Darwin, and American warships visit Australian ports more often. Joint military exercises are expanding, building true interoperability. Intelligence sharing, especially through the Five Eyes network, is deeper than ever. Together, they're countering cyber threats and disinformation. The AUKUS Pact is the pinnacle. Australia will acquire nuclear-powered submarines with US and UK help. This game-changing capability boosts Allied power in the Indo-Pacific. Trump and Albanese reaffirmed their commitment to AUKUS. It's the ultimate expression of trust and a long-term investment in collective security. The alliance is evolving to meet new threats. Together, they're building a united front for peace and stability. The pandemic exposed the fragility of global supply chains. Trump and Albanese are determined to build new, resilient networks with trusted partners. This isn't just about rare earths, it's about re-engineering industrial foundations. The strategy: friendshoring, moving production to allied nations like Australia. Australia's stability and resources make it ideal. The plan includes pharmaceuticals, green tech, and key manufacturing components. Joint investment and government support will drive this transformation. Task forces and investment funds will help companies build new factories and research centers. The goal: make secure supply chains the obvious business choice. This proactive policy reduces vulnerability to shocks and coercion. Diversifying sources protects both economies from disruption. The partnership is a blueprint for a secure, reliable trading system. It's about economic sovereignty and national security, built on trust. The Trump-Albanese meeting marks a clear pivot away from China. Decades of engagement failed to liberalize China. Instead, it fueled Beijing's ambitions. Trump's approach: treat China as a competitor and reduce US dependence. Securing rare earths with Australia is a prime example of this decoupling. Success will weaken China's leverage and create jobs in both countries. The pivot extends to technology, restricting China's access to advanced semiconductors and building secure supply chains. This insulates the US and allies from espionage and theft. The military dimension is clear: AUKUS, an increased US presence counter China's buildup. The message to Beijing aggression will meet a strong, united front. This isn't about provoking conflict, but deterring it. The goal is peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. The US-Australia partnership is central to this new strategy. The world is watching as democratic allies take action. The Trump-Albanese summit is a defining moment for the US-Australia alliance. It marks a shift from talk to action, real solutions, not just promises. Agreements on rare earths, trade, and defense realign both nations' priorities. The legacy: a deeper, more resilient partnership built for an era of competition. For the US, secure rare earths fuel a high-tech renaissance and strengthen security. Friendshoring makes the economy more robust and less vulnerable to Beijing. For Australia, tariff relief and investment promise economic growth and jobs. Deepening defense ties, especially through AUKUS, provide unprecedented security. Australia is stepping up as a regional power, betting on a democratic rules-based order. The summit sends a message: democracies are actively shaping the future. The US-Australia partnership is a model for allied cooperation. The Oval Office handshake was just the start. Now both nations must turn plans into reality, ushering in a new Pacific century.